back to another tutorial by Big Al's Barber Channel. What we're doing today on this young gentleman right here, guys, is we're gonna do a number 4 on top, 0 mid fade, razored out with a Bronze Series 9, and we're gonna do a beard trim, number 1.5 on the beard, just all lined up for him. So what we're starting off here quickly, guys, is I'm gonna start using my brand new Babyliss Gold FX. If you guys haven't seen this machine yet, guys, I absolutely recommend it. It's a great machine. So what I'm doing right here, guys, I put on my number 4 premium guard. I don't really like the Babyliss guards that came with it, so I use my premium guards. Luckily, the premium guards fit on it perfectly. So I'm using my premium guard number 4 open. With the lever closed, I'm sorry, and what I'm doing is I'm just running it across the top, just making it all nice and level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this video, I'm going to run it in real time. I'm not going to speed it up or anything. I'm just going to show you how I actually do this service. This service in real time took me about 30 minutes to complete. So, you know, give or take 35 minutes maybe. This is exactly what it took me. So what I'm doing right here is I'm still using the number 4. I used the number 4 all the way around the top, and what I did right here is I just dropped it down to a number 3, and I'm just going around the parietal ridge with a number 3 now. A number 3 guard, lever closed, and I'm just running it around the parietal ridge. Remember, the number 4 on top and number 3 around the parietal ridge. Lately I've been running these tutorials in real time, and the reason why I'm running them in real time is to show you guys exactly, you know, what it takes to do these haircuts, and running in real time helps me to show you that, you know, how possibly it can be done in this amount of time. This haircut really shouldn't take no more than 30 minutes to do. So what I'm starting right here is I'm using my GTX scalatorized trimmer. Normally I use my balder, but you know, sometimes I switch it up. And so right here I decided to go with my GTX trimmer. And the GTX trimmer, I have it 0 gapped, and you know, and it cuts like butter, as you can see right there. I'm making my initial guideline. As always, when I fade, I always make my initial guideline to a 0 first. This is just the way I was taught how to blend. Some people, you know, they don't do it this way. Some people would rather go the opposite way, go up instead of going down. Some people feel that when you go downwards, you create a line that's very, very hard to get off. You know, I don't think so. I think it's all the same. You know, if when you create that guideline, it's just a matter of getting it nice and clean. As you can see, this machine right here just cuts it all down like butter. You know, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It just gets it all down to the butter. Normally, what I use for this, I use a balder, a wall balder. If you know, before I used my wall balder, I always used to do it this way. But since I switched over using the balder, it feels like I save a lot of trimmer blades. For this video, I don't know why, I just decided to use a trimmer. Sometimes I switch it up, you know, it's just a habit. Sometimes I'll grab a machine that I'm used to using before. But as you can see, a trimmer, any kind of trimmer will work for this situation right here. But, you know, a 0 gap, nice and sharp, it just eliminates, saves you a lot of time. You know, no going back, no cleaning up. Just get it nice and tight, nice and clean. So our initial guidelines are already made. So what we did on top was we did a number 4, then we did a plastic 3 around the edges, around the parietal ridge. So what I'm going to do now is I'm using my 3.5 Ostra blade, 3.5 Ostra. And the reason why I do this is because when I use your 3.5 Ostra, your 3.5 Ostra blade will blend right into the number 4. And you won't have to do no clipper over comb. If you don't like doing clipper over combing, this is a good way to fade. So this number 3.5 blends right into the number 4, so there's going to be no clipper over comb necessary. Once I do the 3.5, I'm going to swap out the blade, and what I did is I put on my number 2 blade, my number 2 Ostra blade. My number 2 Ostra blade, I'm just going to go right to the top of the crown. Again, when I say the crown is, if they're wearing a crown around their head, that'd be the top of the crown, the center of the crown, the bottom of the crown. So right here we go to the top of the crown. Same, almost to the same spot we went with a 3.5, but just a little bit lower so that it all blends in completely, one into the other. As you can see, the fade's already taking shape. This is a quick way of fading, guys. If you find yourself doing steps, this is the best way of doing it. So what I'm doing now is I put my number 1 guard on there with the lever open, and I'm just gonna go right up almost to the same spot where I went with the number 2 metal. So as you can see, the 1.5 blends into the number 2. So very simple. Once I go across, I lower my lever halfway, and I'm gonna go almost to the same spot where I went with the 1.5, but not quite as far. Again, the 1.5 blends into the number 1. Now I close my lever, and I'm just gonna go up halfway. Now that's the number 1. With the lever closed and with a 1 guard, that's a number 1. Now I'm gonna take off my guard. I'm gonna open the lever. So we've already been up with number 2 metal and went with a 1.5. Oh, what I decided to go back was I saw a little bit dark spot there. So what I did is I put my 1.5 clip on there. That's the 1.5 premium guard. And what I did is I just concentrated on that little dark spot that was there, and it actually worked really well. So right here now we're gonna quickly move on to the next step. We're gonna take off the guard, no clip. As always, I have a brush in my hand, just a baby brush, and that's what I use to wipe away the hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up about 3/4 of an inch, almost an inch, and create another guide. When I go up with that guide, you can see it's a little dark, little shadow right there. That's the half shadow, I call it. Once I go across, I lower my lever 1/4 of the way. And the great thing about this new Gold FX, guys, is it has notches. When you have notches, it has actually 4 notches, which is perfect. So what you do is I move it to the 2nd notch. Right here I moved it to the half notch, which is the 3rd notch. Now I'm only gonna go halfway up as I go across. Now I'm gonna lower it, close completely, and I'm just focusing on the bottom line. Focusing on the bottom line. You can see it fades away. Right now what I'm going to clean up that line with is I'm going to go back right now with my trimmer, and I'll clean up that bottom line and just make sure that it's nice and clean. But right there I have it closed, and I'm dragging my blade. As I'm dragging, I'm raking. Right there I opened it to the 2nd or 3rd notch, and then just pushing up that shadow. First I start off with the blade with the lever open. I work my way down, and once I work my way down, then I work my way back up, opening and closing, opening and closing. Again, always have a baby brush in your hand. It's the best way, that way you can just keep your everything cleaned up. Now I put on my half clip, my half guard on there. My half guard, lever open, I went across, dragging it across the center, right where that center shadow was at. As I go across, I lower it 1 notch and I drag it again. As I go across, I lower it 1 more notch, and I'm just same thing, just dragging and raking that center shadow. Now I'm gonna keep it closed completely, and same thing, just focusing on that center shadow. As you can see, it just all blends in. It's a different way of fading, definitely. I start from the top, work my way down, and then I work my way to the middle, and it all blends right in. So right there, I'm just working again on the bottom, just doing a little bit of detail work. As you notice, I don't fade. Some people fade all the way around the head. I don't do that. I fade one side, the back side, and then the other side. I've always done it that way. It's just my preference of fading. So just as I specified right now, we're done with one side. Now I go back to the back side. And what I'm using right here is I'm using my GTX trimmer, guys. And what I'm doing is I call this a shadow. I'm creating a shadow shave line. What I'm doing is I'm using my trimmer going downward, and as you can see, it creates like a little shadow at the bottom, and that's the shadow where I'm going to shave up with my brawn. That way I know exactly where up to go, not to go too high into my fade, if that makes any sense. I hope that makes sense. So right here, what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to start off with my number 1.5, and I'm just going to go up. Remember, we went already with the metal 3, and we went with my metal 2. So now we're going with a 1.5. The 1.5 is gonna blend into where we went with the number 2. It was a metal 2. It was an Austrian metal 2. What I call this step fading, guys. Step fading. So we started with the number 4 on top, went with a 3.5 metal on the sides around the parietal ridge. Then we went with a metal 2, and then we went. Now we're going with the number 1 clip. Number 1 clip, lever open. Now number 1 clip, lever open. That's a 1.5. That blends right into the number 2. Then I lower my lever. Now it's in number 1. So now that I went in number 1, I'm only gonna go halfway up. It all blends in, as you can see, gradually going up. From there, we're going to pump up my customer, my client. And now I'm going to take off my clip, and I'm going to go with my clip, lever open, no clip at all. And I'm just going to create a little guide right there, about an inch up. All the way across. You see that? See that little shadow I created right above that? That's the shadow that we're going to take out for the half clip. I go all the way across. Then I'm going to lower it 1 notch and go almost back up to the same spot. You see that? Almost to the same location. It makes that shadow look a little darker. Now I'm going to drop it 1 more notch. You see that I pointed? And what I use is kind of the corner of the machine, guys. You're only using half of the blade when you're fading. And when I fade, I only use with 1/2 of the blade. Now I'm going to lower it 1 more notch. And I'm going to go up halfway. See that I'm going halfway up only this time. Halfway up. All the way across. Now I'm going to close my machine completely. All the way. Now it's all the way closed. And I'm just focusing on the bottom line. Just dragging that shadow and pushing it up. As I push it up, it fades away. It fades away into the half where the spot where we just came from. All the way across. Just raking it, digging it in. It's kind of a dig, pull, and push up. If that makes any sense. Just fading it away. I can still see a little bit of a shadow right there. And that's why I'm working on that shadow, just trying to detail it out. Get it nice and tight, nice and clean. What I did right there, let's see, I couldn't get that little shadow up, so what I'm going back is I'm using my trimmer that I originally started with, and this is how you get that little trimmer blade out. You just glide it across, push up, and lift. See that little shadow that left right there I pointed at? That I'm going to go back with, again, Bablis, with maybe the half, one notch up, 2 notches up at the most, and I'm just raking that shadow, just pushing it up. Now I'm going to grab my half clip, lever open again, and I'm going to go right across that shadow right there. I just pointed at it. And just raking across. Once I go, I'm just going to use the corner of the machine. See that? Lever open, I go all the way across. I just rake it. Rake it all the way across. Now I'm going to drop it 1 notch, and I'm going to rake it again. Dig in, pull up. Dig in and pull up. That's all the way across. Now I go across. Now I'm going to drop it 1 more notch. And again, just focusing on the little dark spots now. Not trying to go too high, just focusing on the dark spots. Keep it right in the center of that shadow. You don't want to push it too high, because if you push it too high, you're going to create a little light spot. That's what you don't want. You don't want light spots. You want the gradual blend to look nice and tight. Okay, 2 sides down. 2 sides down, 1 side to go. I'm just working on the little detail work right there. You see a little dark spot right there? I got about maybe 2 notches up. Just pushing that little shadow up. Just getting a little dark, lightening it up a little bit. Always have your little baby brush or any kind of brush on your hand. That way you could dust off your spot where you're looking, where you're fading. See how I brush it down and knock off the little hairs that sit there? Remember, guys, I call this step fading. Step fading. We went with a 4 on top first. Then we went with a 3.5 metal around the parietal ridge. Then we went with a number 2 metal around the crown. Now we're going with a 1 clip lever open. The 1 clip lever open is a 1.5. That blends in right into the number 2 metal. See that? No blending at all. Now I close my lever. I went across. Now I'm only going to go halfway up. This is a number 1 lever close. First we started with a 3.5 metal, number 2 metal, 1.5 lever open, and then a 1 lever close. Right there I seen a little bit of a shadow. So what I decided to go back and I just do a little bit of clipper over comb. I know I told you guys that you wouldn't have to do this, but you know, me being the little perfectionist that I am sometimes, I just see a little something there, and you know, I just gotta clean it up. Guys, if you're gonna get this Gold FX, you know what? It's a great machine. It's kind of it's a little big, but it's very easy to fade with. If you're learning how to fade, you know, this might be a good machine for you because of the notch system on the lever. I really like that notch system. It keeps you in line, you know. So right there, I'm just kind of cleaning it up. One with the number 1 again, just cleaning it up. So now I'm gonna take off my clip again, lever open, and that's gonna be a half, and we're just gonna go up about an inch up, all the way across. Then I'm gonna drop my lever a quarter of the way and go back up almost to the same spot, just a little bit lower, all the way across. Now I'm gonna drop it another notch, and I'm gonna go only halfway up, halfway up. See that? All the way across. Now I'm going to close the machine all the way, and I'm just focusing on the bottom line, just raking it up, trying to lighten up that shadow right there. Don't go too high with this part because then you'll lighten it up too much. Just go across it a couple of times, rake it, rake it, rake it. Rake and lift, rake and lift. That's what I say, rake and lift. Even when I'm doing it, I'm thinking to myself, rake and lift, you know. If you can't get that spot up right there, remember, you can always go back to your GTX or your trimmer, and GTX always gets that line right there. See that? Just push it up. Get it nice and tight. No shadows, no lines, guys. You know, a fade, nice tight fade, does not have no lines. See that shadow right there? That's the shadow right there that most people have problem with. That center shadow right there. I have a couple of people in my shop that have a problem with this center shadow right here, and I always tell them it's just the half clip. You got to get your half clip right there. I'm just trying to clean below the shadow, just trying to push up all the darkness below it, and just leaving that center shadow right there. Tell me that's not a fade that sometimes you see somewhere out there in the streets because they don't know how to get that last bottom line right there. See that little shadow I just pointed at? Half clip open, again, half clip open. You're just gonna rake it across, go all the way across, lower your lever a quarter away or 1 notch down, and then go across it again. Drop your notch 1 more time and go across it, and you're just basically focusing on the little dark spots now. Now it's completely closed. Now I'm just focusing on the little dark spots all the way across. All the way across. Just a gradual blend, guys. Simple fade. Again, if you're having trouble with fading, guys, I tell you, stay in your lane, do your reps. This is not something that comes so fast. It can come fast if you're properly trained, but you know, if you're not properly trained and you don't practice enough, then it could take you a long time to fade. But if you do a lot of reps and you don't get scared and you just do what you got to do, you'll get this. Anybody could fade. Anybody could do this. Trust me. I've proven that. I've said it time and time again. I've taught people that thought they couldn't cut hair, and this could be taught to anybody. It's just a matter of trying and doing it. Putting in your reps. The more haircuts you do, the better you're gonna get. So right there, I don't have no clip on it. I'm just basically playing with the lever, going up and down, and just working on my shadow, making sure there's no shadow left there. Getting a nice, tight, clean fade. So now that we're done with that part, guys, we're gonna move over and I'm gonna turn them around and just get them ready right here for the beard trim. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a 1.5 metal 1.5, and I'm just cleaning it up, just getting all the stubble, because you can see it's a little patchy. So we're just gonna get it all blended and get it on one length. It's a little darker towards the bottom, a little lighter towards the front. So we're just gonna try to get it all one length, and once I get it to a 1.5, nice and nice, just lighten it up, then we're gonna just line it all up. So right here, I'm just trying to go against the grain. As you can see, the hair is going in different directions. So I'm just start off from the bottom and just work my way up. Just get it on one length. As always, guys, when I do beard trims, When I do beards like this, or even a lineup, I always try to stay on one side of the person. So like I was saying, as always, I always do one side of the head first without turning them over to the other side. That's just me. That's just the way I work. I don't like working all the way around the head. So I like to keep the head, the face, the haircut all in sections. And then just bring it all together into one blend. So right there, as always, when I do beard trims, I always start off on the side of the ear right there. I just come straight down, and that always creates my first line. Always. Come right down there, straight down, and then I'm going to turn them up a little bit, and then I'm going to start from the center, and I'm going to work my way towards that corner where I just finished off over there. Just keeping it nice and thick. He didn't want it too thin. He didn't want it like a chin strap. He just wanted it nice and thick. Just a nice little clean lineup. Again, I like using the GTX T outliners because once I skeletorize it, I fell in love with this machine. There's so much room to work with right there. I can't even imagine. I don't even want to use the cordless ones that come out yet because I don't know if you can cut the covers off. Well, I heard you can cut the cover off now, but I hadn't been wanting to buy it because of the fact that you can't cut the cover off to go cordless with the new T outliners they have. And these T outliners. And I know they're not GTXs, they're just regular T outliners, but even the T outliners are good too. The GTX is just a certain type of blade that came with this machine, but you can inter swap them too. If you wanted to put a GTX blade on a regular machine, you can. But right there, you can see I'm just lining it up. Went to the mustache, do the side, do the lip first, do the top of the lip. Now I'm going around the temple right here, just cleaning it up, getting it nice and tight. That way I can go back and when I shave it with the Bronze Series 9, it'll be just a more of an easy shave. Getting all my lines nice and straight. As you can see right here, I'm already 21 minutes into the haircut, and we're still moving along pretty good. What we're gonna do right here now is we're gonna go with the 1.5. We spun them around. Now we're doing the other side. Same thing. We're just gonna do the 1.5. Get it nice and even. Get it nice and tight. That way, when I come in and trim it all up, when I come in and line it all up, it'll be nice and tight. Right there around the chin is a little patchy, so we're just trying to blend it up. Just get it tight, nice and tight. Lighten it up a little bit. I don't know how it is at your guys' shops, but at my shop, this is considered bald faded with a beard trim. Bald faded with a beard trim, and you know, we charge extra for a beard trim besides the haircut. So just letting you guys know that information. I don't know how it is at your guys' shops or where you guys work. I don't know if this is all one service. At my shop, this is kind of, I consider a 1.5 service. But if they got it separately, a beard trim at my shop, you know, is a separate service. But this is kind of a special service because we combine the haircut and the beard trim. Right there again, as always, I start with my first line right by the ear all the way down. And that's the start of my beard trim always. I always start that direct, getting that line nice and straight. Then I'm gonna pick them up. Same thing. Just lining up the bottom, trying to get it nice and straight as possible. First I start downward, then I go upward, you know, because you know, the hair down there at the bottom of the neck always grows in different directions. Sometimes it grows up, sometimes it goes down. So you got to turn your blade around in different directions. And right there, you're just trying to get it as straight as you can, as straight as possible. I'm trying not to get him to nick him because he's very light skinned. So light skinned people with the trimmer, sometimes if you get him under the neck, it tends to get him nice and red. So I'll just try not to get him too red. Then I go below the lip first, and then I go above the lip. Just trying to get it nice and straight. Just cleaning up right there around the temple. getting myself ready for the shave with the Bronze Series 9. Just cleaning it all up. So now that we're done lining up the beard, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in with my one clip lever open, and what I'm going to do is, remember we went with a 1.5 clip all the way around the edges of the beard. So what I did right here is I'm putting my one clip, and I have the lever closed, which makes it a number 1. Because remember, with the lever open, it's a 1.5. We already did a 1.5 all the way around. So what I did is I'm doing a number 1 right there, and I'm just running it around the edges of the beard right there, just trying to lighten it up. That way, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fade it up the opposite way. Just get it nice and clean, nice and tight. Now that I did there, so now we went with a number 1. Now it's nice and tight, number 1. Now I'm gonna come in with no clip, and I'm just going to start fading away. I'm starting fading the opposite way. I'm starting off with the machine open from the top, and as I go down, I lower my notch 1, and I go a little bit lower. And as I go a little bit lower, I lower my notch 1 more, and I go a little bit lower. And this, you're fading the opposite way. Open my notch 1 more time, and I'm going to go in. Now I put my half clip, and now I'm just fading out that center shadow line that I created. This is what you call reverse fading, guys. Reverse fading, because we started with it open, and as we go down, we open it up, and as if you go for a little bit lower, we open it up more. So you're kind of reverse fading, guys. Right there, I just put the clip on, and I noticed a little dark spot, so I'm just detailing that fade up a little bit before we go on to the next side. Fade up the other side of the beard, and before we start shaving it with the Bronze Series 9 around the edges of the head. Because remember, guys, a fade like this is not complete if you're going to leave it full of stubble. You always have to shave it. It's common courtesy. It's common sense when you're fading, you know. Right here, so right here again, I just went with my lever open, 1.5, and I'm just kind of blending in. Remember, we went with a metal 1.5, so this should all blend in. 1.5, lever open. Now I close my lever, and I'm just blending out that actually is kind of like the line that we created right there with the trimmer. We're not fading it out, we're just lining it up. Once I did that, I take off my clip, lever closed. As I go down, I lower my notch. See that? Lower another notch, go a little bit lower, lower it all the way open now, and I'm just gonna go maybe 3/4 of an inch down. Now I put it back up a little bit, and I'm just kind of blending that out. Now I'm going to put my half clip again, and I'm just going to blend out the little shadow that I created with my lever open. Right there. Nice and simple, nice and easy. Let your wrist do all the work. It's kind of a big machine, guys. It's kind of a little bit bulky. It's not very heavy. I like the way the battery lasts. The battery lasts a long time. I love the notch system. You know, if you're considering getting this machine, if you already have a wall, 5-star or even the 1919, and you can afford it, I would suggest getting this machine. It's a great machine. It's really smooth. It cuts really good. The battery lasts, like I said, it lasts longer than the wall. I believe. I think it lasts longer than the wall. So right here, we're already done, guys. I'm just blowing them off, getting all the hair, cleaning up my canvas, because that's what this haircut is. Beard trim's done. The fade is done, so now we're gonna go to the lineup, guys. And as always, I start off on one side. I'll start off in the corner, and I'm gonna work my way towards the middle, guys. Just get a nice little straight line. Your GTX has to be a hitter, guys. When you're doing lineups, you have to have a hitter. You have to have that trimmer that just hits nice and clean. You know, some people have been asking me how to set your trimmer blades, and you know, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't even set my own trimmer blades. I have somebody who does it for me, you know. Sometimes you gotta find that right person that knows how they set these machines, and go with them. You pay them, you know. I have a person that comes to my shop, and he's a supply person, and when they come, they know how to set the machines. I usually buy a blade off them, and I have them put it on for me, and I tell them to zero gap it, and they know how to do it the right way. But you know, that's how it is. Sometimes you gotta find somebody who does it for you, or you gotta figure it out yourself. I know how to zero gap it, but for me, the the supply guy does it better than I do. So why am I gonna waste my time doing it when he could do it for me? So I did one side, so now I spin him around, and now I'm gonna do the other side. Start from the middle where I left off, and I'm gonna go towards the other corner. Just trying to get that nice little sharp corner. As you can see right there, his has a little bit of a receding hairline. So I'm trying not to go too high. Just trying to keep it exactly where it was at already, without pushing the line up too high. I don't really want to push the line up. Again, guys, doing lineups is just a matter of doing them. The way you get good at them is by doing them. Practice, doing your reps. Never shy away from haircuts, guys. If you shy away from haircuts, you're never going to learn them. Remember that. Those are words to live by in this business. You got to just get into it. You're scared of doing a haircut. Scared hands don't get fed. Remember that, guys. You guys have to get out of your comfort zone. Just do the haircuts. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm going to use my GTX, and as you can see, now that I pulled off the Sanex down a little bit, you can see where the hair is coming up from the neck. So just clean it up nice and tight. That way, right now, when I go in there with my Bronze Series 9, it'll be nice and smooth. Because you don't want to, you know, although the Bronze Series 9 takes down stubble, if you could eliminate having to go through all that right here real quick using my trimmer, you can see I just kind of cleaned it up. It's not stubble free. There's still a lot of stubble there. So that way when I go in the Bronze Series 9, I could just zoom through it right away. If I can avoid going over stubble, I do it. I mean, I know that the machine's made to go over stubble, but it just takes away more from the haircut. It takes more time. Again, guys, if you guys don't know what this machine is right here, this is a Bronze Series 9. Bronze Series 9. I've already been on this machine for I would say about 10 months now, going on a year, and it's still going strong. I'm on my second blade, so yeah, if you say two blades for the whole year, it's not bad at all. And considering I do a lot of haircuts, and I use the machine on almost every single haircut. I use it on children, I use it on adults, I use it on everything. I use it on the neck, I use it on the face, you know what I mean? I use it on the head when they get sometimes a guy gets a head shave, or I do a head shave. I'll go, you know, just do a little detail work with it, because it's a perfect machine. Just picks up all the stubble. Even when I do a razor fade on the sides with a straight razor, I'll still hit it with my Bronze Series 9 afterwards, just to make sure that it gets every single little bit of stubble that's there. And it's a great machine. If you don't have one, I highly recommend it. You add it to your arsenal of machines, because it'll save you a lot of time, and it's a great machine. As always, guys, keep in mind that all the machines that I list, that I talk about, that I use, all the machines that I have or that are on my arsenal are all listed in my description of this video. There were affiliate links right there that if you want to purchase it, you can just click the link and it'll take you right to Amazon. You get it sent right to your house. Of course, I get a little bit of a cut. It's, you know, a little small percentage. I think it's like 1% for whatever the sale is. It just helps out. It helps me out with creating these videos, you know. I appreciate you guys as much as you guys appreciate me, and you know, this helps me as much as it helps you. So, you know, thank you. So quickly, we're moving along here with the Bronze Series 9. We're still at real time, just moving along. So pretty much at this point, the haircut is almost done, guys. I'm just gonna go and do a little bit of detail work here. So what I do is I grab my number 4 clip again, and I'm just running it over the top, because remember, we went with the number 4 originally. So we started with the number 4, so we ended with the number 4. I'm just gonna making sure that it's all nice and even on top. There's no hair sticking out, nothing that we might have missed the first time we went through. This is more of a just a detail backtrack thing, you know. Just make sure that everything's nice and even. Blow them off. Always keep your. So at this point, the haircut's pretty much complete. It's just going back and just checking up your little bit of detail work here and there. I'm gonna go right here under the chin and just kind of clean it up with my Bronze Series 9, get all the stubble out of there, make sure it's nice and tight. You know, guys, when you're doing fades like this is all repetitious work. So keep in mind, if you find yourself struggling doing fades, keep in mind that in time, if you keep at it and you work hard and you study and you know, And by study, I mean, like, watching videos like this, asking questions, learning. But I'm tell you right now, the best way you're gonna get good at doing fades is just doing them. Don't shy away from doing fades. Don't shy away from doing little kids fades. Even then, stay with it. That's how you get good at this. So what we're doing right here is we're going to do some detail work on the lineup, and we're just going to line it up with the straight razor. So what I applied first, I applied some clear gel. Of course, when I do the lineup, I always use clear gel because clear gel allows me to see where I'm going. I want to make sure that I can see what I'm doing when I'm doing it, So I always add clear gel when I'm doing my lineups. So right here, pretty much all complete now. It's all a matter of wiping them all down, getting them all cleaned up. This is one of my customers right here that comes pretty frequent with me. So I've been doing his hair a little bit for a while already. So right here, I'm just doing a little detail work because this haircut was a beard trim and a haircut. So the beard trim, when I do my beard trims, I like to do the lineup right there. The one going right to the ear, I like to do it with a straight razor because I feel that when you use your straight razor, it just comes out nice and crisp. The line comes out nice and tight. Little detail things like this, guys. Even just busting out your straight razor with a customer, it makes your haircut that much better. It enhances it. When you use a straight razor on your customer, you should always use a straight razor on the customer, no matter what. Whether you're doing the nape or you're doing it around the sideburns, around the ear, you should always use your straight razor. I think that if you're a barber, you should be using a straight razor. It's automatic. So that's it for this haircut. This haircut is complete, guys. Just gonna clean up his neck real quick with the Bronze Series 9. Like I said, little detail work at the end that just helps make the haircut pop, makes it look nice and clean. Keep working at it, guys. Keep grinding. If you guys keep grinding, I guarantee your haircuts will get better. Your fades will get easier. Do your studies. Study your videos, and get active. I'm telling you right now, the best solution for learning how to fade is just doing it. You're not gonna learn by avoiding doing haircuts. So stick with it. This is Big Al. I'm signing out right here, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to our channel. Click the little bell so you guys get notifications every time we come out with a new video. Grind on, and I'll see you guys on the next video.